Surprise, surprise! Noel and I have changed places. Unfortunately, Wendy lost signal during the OTS. But very good afternoon to everybody and a beautiful, beautiful day. The clouds have all separated and everything is nice and bright and sunny. My name is Tristan. On camera today, we've got Senzo. There we go. There's the three fingers as per normal. And we are coming to you live and interactive from South Africa. So hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or YouTube chat if you would like to get hold of us. Now, the plan for this afternoon, well, I'm not quite sure. We've had a few little gremlins on Jigger, so I've got to do the time lapses. There we go. I'll get it out eventually. I don't know what's wrong with me this afternoon, but it should be entertaining if this continues. But I'm going to try and head towards quarantine and then down towards Treehouse Dam. Senzo, stop laughing at me, otherwise I'm not going to be able to stop laughing myself. So once we've done Treehouse Dam, then I think probably on towards Chitwa. I think that's where I'm going to head this afternoon. Hopefully we'll get lucky with some nice things. Now that the sun is out, I'd imagine that will drive some of the animals for water, particularly the big elephants. So that's what I'm going to try and look for, and maybe a little bit later some of the cats come out. So that's the idea. It should be a good birding afternoon now that the sun is out, so hopefully lots of interesting birds will be around and lots of fun things to be had. Of course, there will be fun if I keep speaking the way I am so far today, because, well, everybody's going to have a good chuckle at what will come out of my mouth, because who knows at the moment what's going to come out. At this stage it could be gibberish, it could be English, who knows, but it should be fun nonetheless. It's amazing though, it feels like a completely different day to what we had this morning. This morning was overcast, it was chilly, I was wrapped up in long pants, 3 jerseys, and feeling quite sorry for myself at the start of drive. Now it is sunny and beautiful. I think I've got a jersey on for the wrong reasons actually. I'm going to take it off shortly because I'm actually very hot at the moment and I was busy with all kinds of things. Ooh. Careful, beetle. The beetle just flew into my face. That's not ideal. Luckily it didn't go into my mouth, because that would have been one that I would have swallowed. The pace at which that beetle came would have definitely meant I would have had a beetle in the mouth, which would have been very unpleasant, that's for sure. There's a lot of blister beetles around at the moment, these little meloids, and so if it's one of those, that's definitely something you don't want in your mouth, and swallowing a blister beetle can cause a lot of damage. It certainly is a very uncomfortable experience having a blister beetle on you, and I would shudder to think what it must be like once that goes into your mouth and down your gullet. I think you'll be very sorry for yourself for a long, long time. And basically what happens with a blister beetle is it's not like it just kind of secretes a little bit. It actually basically bleeds from all of the joints on the legs, and so it's called reflex bleeding, and the bleeding is not actually blood that comes out. It's a toxin that's called cantharidin, and that cantharidin is highly, highly toxic to us, and upon touching causes blistering to happen. And the problem with that blistering is if the blister for any reason pops, the liquid inside still contains that chemical, and that causes it then to run out onto the skin and causes more blistering, and it can be very unpleasant. So you can imagine that in your throat or your stomach. I would think you would be very, 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 very unhappy about it. I certainly would. Senzo, you? Blister eating competition. Blister beetle eating competition. No? No. Okay, Senzo says no. Senzo's not up for that one. He's up for a lot of things, but he's not going to go for that vibe at all. I can't say I blame you, Senz. Right, let's head towards our first time-lapse on quarantine. I think this quarantine time-lapse is going to be pretty interesting. There's been so many different weather sort of patterns that we've had over the months, and it's going to be very cool to watch the whole process change. We've obviously gone from a time when it was very, very dry and barren, and there was, nothing going on, until now where they're starting to get some leaves, the greenery is starting to come through nicely, and soon, hopefully by the end of the summer, there will be nice thick covering of grass all across this area, which should then mean that we get a really, really nice sort of time lapse out of it. So hopefully Sebastian will be happy with our work that we've done. Hopefully we haven't moved anything or adjusted an angle in any way that causes us to be in trouble, but I'm sure we haven't. I'm sure we've done just fine. I don't want to put VM or Senzo in the trouble. I'll just have to take the blame if we have. I also think from now on I'm going to be so kind of in tune with trying to actually sort of get these types. I reckon at the moment I could drive this pretty much blindfolded. I've been doing these drives to Quarantine and Treehouse Dam every single afternoon, I think since July, so I'm pretty sure I could drive this little route without any eyes whatsoever. Maybe I should get Taylor here and we can test, because Taylor's had her eye issues and we'll have to try and see who can drive it better with a board on. Of course, that's probably not the best idea, because ultimately it's going to end up in one of us causing an accident, and well, we don't really need to put our vehicles through any more than we already do. Right, time for Senzo's fashion show. A few gremlins on board some of the other vehicles, so we're going to just see Senzo doing his business. Senz, looking very summery today actually. He's got a t-shirt on, nice khaki pants, and well, a nice colourful belt that he always wears, his Kenyan belt, dark cap, and barefoot today. Ooh, he's going very risky out here in the bush. Barefoot is never the best option when walking around out here. Things like scorpions and thorns are not ideal when walking around. So my advice is don't walk around barefoot. Don't be like Senzo in this regard. Senzo, you're looking very good again. Once as normal, you always kind of sit up against the tree and he poses always so nicely for us. So it's always wonderful to have Senzo on board and enjoying we're enjoying his company. Yesterday I couldn't stop giggling, I must be honest. Every time I turned around to the camera and I saw Senzo looking like that character from Cool Runnings, the movie, I thought it sent me into fits of chuckling the whole time. So it was very, very funny. This morning was much more of the same, so it's been an entertaining time. Oh, did you get a thorn, Senzo? Yes, there we go. So Senzo's quickly learning that barefoot in the bush is not the best plan, and he's now accumulated a thorn. Are you alright? Yeah. You're alright, okay, excellent news. So Senzo's okay. Debbie, you say if I wouldn't eat a blister beetle, which beetle would I eat? Ooh, tough question. Can it be cooked or does it have to be raw? Is my question. What do you think, Kirst? Kirst, you can have the decide on this one. Raw or cooked? It can be cooked. I feel like if I'm going to eat a beetle, I would rather go smaller. So smaller would be better. Maybe a tiny little fruit chafer. I think it would be crunchy, but it would be okay. I mean, I have swallowed a beetle before, actually, so and this is really random, but it has happened to me. Driving along, talking, and we all know that I like to talk, and I end up talking too much, and a beetle flew straight into my mouth, and I swallowed it. But you see, I didn't chew that beetle, so it wasn't too bad. It was a bit scratchy going down. You know, beetles often have quite a hard exoskeleton, and there's a few little scratches as it went down, but I would say a little fruit chafer, maybe. I think that would be manageable, especially as in my fair share of what we term a stink bug. Now, a stink bug, the name suggests, a very unpleasant thing to eat it. It leaves this lovely taste in your mouth that will ruin just about any food. But in summer, we often used to, at the lodges, do these bush dinners. So you'd go out in the evenings and it would be somewhere out in the bush, and there'd be lanterns and there'd be a fire and amazing food and all these kind of things. But the problem was in summer is that they put lanterns on the table, and the lanterns used to attract these little black stink bugs, and they used to come and land on your food. And this tiny little black thing looks like a bit of pepper actually at the end of the day, and so when you're eating you don't notice it at all, and you put it in your mouth and you take a nice big chomp, and then there's just this lovely horrible kind of taste. It's not a very pleasant taste at all, and it really is uncomfortable, and then you kind of got to swallow all your food down. It ruins your whole meal, and you've got to try and then get some sort of a drink or something just to wash it down to try and get rid of that taste. But it takes a bit of a while. It certainly can ruin a meal, so I've eaten my fair share of those as well. So I think that's probably the two that I would go for. I mean, I know what I'm getting with the stink bug and a little fruit chafer. I've also had one of those before, so I think I'd be okay with them. Certainly wouldn't want to go for a blister beetle or a dung beetle or even an assassin. So right now, I'm not the only one out here, and I'm sure I'm not the only one with an opinion on insects and bug eating. There is Miss Taylor Jane McCurdy, who, well, I don't know if she will be an expert on it, but I'm sure she has eaten her fair share. So let's go across to her and see what she thinks.
I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll get to it in a minute. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me for the last time in Kenya is David. Hey. Well, until next year. He's going back to the Sabi Sand after a two-week holiday in the city of Johannesburg and in Cape Town. Just in case anyone was wondering what David was going to get up to for his leave, that's what he's doing. Now, remember, this is live and interactive, and the Mara was a bit late, but we're here nonetheless. Hashtag Safari Live, or you can chat to us via the YouTube chat too. Now, what bug would I eat? Probably none of them. Termites. Termites for me are my favorite, particularly the southern harvester the snouted termites, not the harvesters. The snouted termites, the ones that have got a formic acid that make them taste like a combination between coriander and mint. Not particularly fond of coriander, but in the form of a termite, I actually don't mind. It's quite tasty. I don't know. I think that's it. That's all the insects I'd probably eat. What about an earthworm, Darby? Just sort of slurp it up like spaghetti. What beetle? Oh, Tristan's specifically asking about beetles. I don't know. I haven't got a clue about what beetle. I wouldn't want to eat a dung beetle. I would like to eat a spider dung beetle. Go and Google what a spider dung beetle is. I'll have one of those. I'll just swallow it whole. It's the tiniest little dung beetle you ever did see. I wonder if it's maybe one of the small. I don't think it's the smallest, but it's got exceptionally long legs. They're actually quite cool. We see them around here quite a bit, so maybe on some of the warmer days we'll be able to show you some of those. But I think that's it. I'm not too fond of eating beetles. I think it would be a bit too crunchy. And listen, they'd probably get 10 out of 10 for texture. Taste, I'm not so sure. We'll have to ask Tristan. Tristan, there's normally plenty of fruit chafers that crawl up my leg in the evening. So what I'll do is I'll catch a few and we'll send them across to you. Davy, there's a really cool bird that's just flown out of the grass. Can you see it? It's quite far away. It's just flying off to the left. It's far. Look at that, a pallid harrier. Very nice. Beautiful bird, just skimming the top of the grass. I wonder if it's trying to flush out a rat by doing that. That's an interesting hunting technique. And then if it does see something, it can just drop straight to the ground. That's magnificent. So agile. And there are plenty of rodents. I actually saw 1 or 2 running around today, and they weren't the same gerbils that we have been seeing. They look like maybe one of the tree climbing mice, if we get them up here. It was particularly dark in colour, and it wasn't too big either. It was quite round, like chubby, if that makes any sense. That would make a great snack for this pallid harrier. Yeah, it slowed down there. There we go. Just turning. I think it's seen something. That's amazing. I wish I could sit and watch birds like this all day long, though. I think our dear cameraman would get a bit sick of the presenters if we did this all the time. And luckily it's far away, though, because if it's close, it's so hard. But Darby's always up for a challenge. Always up for the challenge. And off it goes. Oh, in the grass. Oh, no, it didn't. It just swooped down very low, heading towards the marshy areas, and that's exactly where we're going to be going this afternoon as well. Scott and I have decided we're going to meet there and have a little drive around and see if we can find anything that's out and about this afternoon. Maybe that lioness that seems to carry... no, that wasn't that lioness. That was one by Hippo Pools. We've had her trying to stalk warthogs. Maybe we'll check for her. Maybe we'll check for the Olololo females, but we'll see. We'll have our pick. Maybe it won't even be lions at all. Maybe a leopard. Who knows? Anyways, we're going to jump back onto Scott's car, who's going to be doing a similar thing to us this afternoon, and I wonder what type of crunchy beetle he'd prefer.
I'm pretty convinced all beetles will not be very tasty, so I guess I'll just go with the regular medium-sized dung beetle and get it over and done with. My name's Scott, and I'm teamed up with Jahawi on camera. We are just making our way down the escarpment into the Mara Valley floor, and I'm not too sure exactly where we are going to go today. Covered a lot of ground this morning, didn't come up with any predators, so I think we might just take a slow, casual bumble, do some birding, and just see what happens, and maybe work some areas and roads that I don't usually drive. It's funny how, at least with myself, I kind of get into a bit of a rut of checking similar areas or checking similar roads. So I'm thinking of going a little bit off the regular pathway that I would usually go on and see what I can find. The main difference being is that I usually try and head south from here into areas where we can off-road wherever we like. Whereas this afternoon, I'm thinking I'm going to spend some time in the non-off-roading area because it's very beautiful. And haven't spent much time there, and who knows what we may find there. We could get lucky and find some animals close to the road. Weather at the moment's crazy. It was raining a little bit earlier. Clouds coming in, going. So anything could happen, but for now, it is looking clear. And hopefully we won't get wet. Been doing some work on our rain covers. They needed some fine tuning, the new covers that we got made a couple of weeks ago. And thankfully this car seems to be 100% now. but we'll only be able to test that as and when there is some rain. So I don't think that's going to be this afternoon, which is certainly not a problem. Okay, well, like I said, we're going to be doing some birding this afternoon, and it looks like Taylor's on the same boat. She has already found one for you.
Senegal lapwing. One of our residents here on quarantine, we had a really nice view of the eggs the other day, and I actually, for the life of me, can't remember where, but if I do remember where, I'm going to show you. I just want you guys to notice the sort of dusty color that was there, but we'll head back to the bird just now. I am Noelle. This is Safari Live. This is interactive. You can follow us on hashtag Safari Live for Twitter or YouTube chat, and we love fielding questions, so please, please, please send them through. So if we want to go back over to our Senegal lapwing, here we are. Cheers. Oh, we've got Gendry on camera. I'm so sorry, Gendry. For some reason, I forget to introduce you, but you are an integral part of what we're doing. And notice the sort of dusky color on the back. There's a bit of black tip to the wing, and that very distinctive white on the front there, and then the yellow eye ring. It's all definitive features of this lapwing. They used to be called plovers. So when I started guiding, this was a plover, and many other bird names were different from what they are now. So I've had to relearn quite a few bird names. There's that white in front. Beautiful. What this lapwing's doing now is a bit of, I want to say hunting, but I almost wonder if maybe he or she, there's no sexual dimorphism, so there's no difference between male and female with these two that I know of. Sort of either keeping an eye on a nest or just trying to figure out where it's going to find something to eat. Now, if it had already found something to eat, you would see it sort of pecking at the ground. This one's keeping an eye out. Maybe he's confused by us. You never know. Scott, was saying earlier it's a good day for birding. It's definitely a good day for birding. And then Gendry and I were just discussing now beetles that we would eat. Gendry, what did you say?
Christmas beetles with butter and Cheerios.
Gendry wanted to eat Christmas beetles with butter and salt. So Christmas beetles for us here would be June bugs in the States. They're very, very, very similar. For me, I don't think I would eat a beetle. I have eaten winged alites, which are special termites that come out this time of the year after the first rains. They fly out of the termite mounds and then meet each other and form new colonies. But yeah, I don't know if I'd eat a beetle. I think the crunch factor. I watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when I was very young, and there was a lot of bug eating in there, and it was a bit, or insect eating, I should say, rather. Okay, we're going to leave our confused little lapwing. We're going to see what other birds we can find you. Maybe some tracks today. Kristen's asking, do dung beetles taste like dung? And I'm laughing because one of the comments that Gendry had earlier was you probably wouldn't eat a dung beetle because of what they do. I don't know if they would taste like dung, having not eaten one myself. I can imagine there would be a sort of beginning flavor of dung, but there's elephant dung, for instance. There's quite a few types of dung that you can squeeze juices out of and drink those if you're severely dehydrated and have nothing else to drink. So I think if you can get past the sort of dung type taste, I don't know. It's the crunch factor. I think it'd be like a crunch and then very gooey on the inside. No, not my. No. Sorry. All right, we've got a fork-tailed drongo at our sort of 12:30, 1 o'clock that's just landed. Probably about, Gendry, you're brilliant. And then of course it flies up and then there he goes. So because it's nice and warm this afternoon, it's not warm, but it's warm enough. And then, okay, goodbye. Oop, there he's back. We're going to get a lot of insect activity, especially the few butterflies that are still around. So drongos like to either follow behind antelope species, and as they kick up the soil, they kick up insects that they can fly down and eat. Or what this one was just doing now is it's perching and then looking for activity and then coming down and grabbing something and go back. Every time they come down, they don't necessarily get what they're looking for, but they are quite good at hunting. For me, one of my favorite things to see with drongos is the way that they interact with mongoose and meerkats, because they mimic these birds. So they mimic often the alarm call of the mongoose or the meerkat to steal food that mongoose or meerkat has captured, and that would mostly be insectivorous. Another thing that they're amazing at doing is mobbing very large prey to keep it away from nests. But I've also seen, say, a snake eagle take off, and drongos, for no other apparent reason, just sort of starting to come and dive bomb. This one, though, is behaving itself quite nicely, and amazingly is sitting still for 5 seconds. It's interesting. Birding for us on camera can be very similar to bird photography, where you either get it or you don't. They move around very, very quickly. So we are going to head on over. Kirsten, I'm so sorry, to the Mara. We're going to head up to the Mara, to Scott, and see what sort of birds he has in store for us, or maybe something else. And we will carry on looking this side for you.
Very good. Glad you're getting some birding in with Noel, and it seems to be the flavor of the afternoon. Ooh. Let's see what this lilac-breasted roll is doing. We've got off to... Oh, well done, Jar. Great work. And you would have got the flashes of bright turquoise of their wing feathers. And they are very pretty birds, the lilac-breasted rollers. This one's got beautiful long tail streamers. Wonderful. You also get these down in Djuma. I don't think we get any rollers here that you don't actually get in Djuma. And interestingly, I actually forgot to say on the Sunrise Safari, I saw my first European roller in the Mara yesterday, which has come all the way from Mediterranean Europe. So, another migrant has made its way south, and looking forward to seeing more of those. Maybe we'll be able to show you one of those this afternoon. And what will be interesting to note is, from when we see the first European roller here, relative to when the first European roller gets seen in the Sabi sands, because then we'll have a rough idea how long it takes him to get from Kenya to the northern parts of South Africa. Justin, you'd like to know what is the bird that I find hardest to identify? There are so many that are difficult to identify. The lark family, the chats, a lot of the warblers, sometimes even the starlings are very similar. There's a lot of different families of birds that are very, very tricky to distinguish. A lot of the bustards look quite similar, especially the females. So the seabirds and waders, that's a whole nother game of very similar looking birds. So all in all, you'll find that there's so many species that are tricky to tell apart, and especially when you're spending time across wide parts of Africa, traversing Africa extensively, you get so many different types of sparrows and starlings that you won't necessarily get in your hometown that take a bit of getting used to be able to distinguish them, a lot of which, you know, you'll be able to tell one bird from another simply from the location that it's in a lot of the time. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to get an angle on it, but there are some European rollers. I'm fairly certain that's what they are. And let's stop here. Oh, maybe we'll be able to get them flying around. Oh, our roof's in the way, sadly. But I can hear the telltale call of some European rollers. Got a little glimpse of it. They're very pretty birds, but with this white light and clouds in the background, it's going to be tricky to spot them. Ah, speaking of things that are tricky to spot, there's an antelope that we don't often get to show you during the day. They're usually quite well hidden during the daylight hours. So this is a bonus. There's also a herd of elephants in the background. There we go. That is a reedbuck. And it's a female. Kind of got a kangaroo-like face almost. Looks like it's just like a kangaroo actually just leaning on its front legs. Huh. Is your face more swollen than normal? She does have quite a few flies on her face, it looks like. Maybe she's not in the best of health. And if she's not in the best of health, there's the Ellies. What a beautiful scene. If she's not in good health, she needs to be careful, because this riverbed system that she's currently kind of just chilling out in is one that the Angama Pride of Lions likes to spend a lot of time in, and that's why we've decided to drive down here in the hope that we may be able to get a glimpse of them. I haven't seen them for quite some time, so it'll be good to touch base with them again. Good. It's funny how things change. I used to spend so much time here when I first arrived. Well, we all did, really. We spent a lot of time with the Angama Pride. But now, not so much. Very good. We're going to send you off to Taylor. I'm told she has spotted something.
Well, that's what Darby and I thought. So here we sit this afternoon going, aha, a vehicle. They must have seen the lions. Cool. We thought it was the roof, the canvas roof of the car. And we're having this whole conversation as we start driving towards it. I said to Darby, yeah, no. Firstly, I said, I think it's the triangle boys that are sitting there, because we always try and bet and see which animal we're going to get, just as a, friendly competition. And so Darby says, okay, good guess. And then I sit there and I said, no, I can see the whole pride of lions. And I thought there were Thompson's gazelle and some more logs that were just all to the right of where we thought the canvas roof of the car was. Nothing. Well, there was no car, there were no animals, except there were Thompson's gazelle. It was all just logs. I cannot tell you how important it is to use your binoculars before you throw out statements. I'm so glad we weren't live for that. But I thought that I would just share it with you anyway. But I did start coming in this direction to go there, so now I have to turn around and go back the way I wanted to go. It was so funny though, we were properly convinced. Thought I would just park down in the gully or in the lugger, to get a good view. Nope. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head on this main road back towards Little Governor's. And then I think we're going to take a drive on the Mara River. We might do a bit of birding there too. I'm sure we're going to see some hippos, maybe some crocodiles, hopefully some lions is actually what we're after. So that's our plan for now. Doesn't seem to be too much out there. I haven't seen any big herds of buffalo, any big herds of elephants. Just a couple of animals here and there. But I think when we get to that side where the grass is really, really, really short, we might have some luck this afternoon in finding the animals that we're after. Maybe we'll do a bit of birding. I think we might do some birding. I've got my forest list of birds that I want to see. Let me find it quickly. Okay, so the birds that I want to see in the forest that we're going to be sort of trying over the next few days. The first one is the Scallows Turocco. Oh, you want to have a look at it. But I didn't write neatly, and we were talking about this today, about how I don't want anyone to see my untidy handwriting. So we've got the Scallows Turocco, the African Emerald Cuckoo, which was taunting us, we heard this morning. Ross's Turoccos, just because I haven't put them on camera yet. African Blue Flycatcher, I have seen it, but also haven't put it on camera either. And then the Scaly-Throated Honeyguard is another one that I haven't seen for a long time, since the Eastern Cape, the last time I saw them. And an African Wood Owl, which will mean we'll have to go past there at night, or we could see it during the day. So apparently Scott has said he doesn't want me to see an Arena Trogon, or put an Arena Trogon on screen before he does. That's going to be my mission tomorrow morning. We almost had one. We were so close. Like, it was just too quick. It was sort of ducking in the canopy of trees. And because we've got the roof, we can't get underneath them, which is a bit frustrating. The Djuma having the Djuma cars, and we could also go a little bit further in as well without the roofs, and they're so small. They're nimble little cars, those. I do miss Rusty, Jigger, and Wendy. And even though I kicked their tires many times and said many terrible things to them, but then said sorry afterwards. But that would be the ideal car to try and catch some of those birds. But we'll try again in the morning. and hopefully we'll start to tick some of those birds off the list. I didn't want to put too many on there, so I just put a couple just to see how it goes. I just ate this. Hang on. I put it there. That is what just flew into my mouth with about 10 others, but I only managed to get one. These are these horrible little midges that fly into your eyes and make you blind. And they also bite. They bite really sore. Hope you all get eaten by bats. That's what I hope happens to them. I don't like them. I'm going to talk like this or get one of those masks. Maybe we'll have to do that. Right, it seems as though Scott is taking his birding very serious this afternoon. Let's jump back across and see what he's got next.
Yes, this is a very serious bird watching safari, so be warned. There's a whole bunch of starlings, both wattled and greater blue-eared, and they're busy hunting. There must be some kind of a hatching. I can't see what they're feeding on. But you can see lots of them are flying in and out of the bush, and they're catching, I'm guessing, some elates on the wing. Oh, there's one caught one. If we just stay wide for a bit, we'll see them flitzing out, catching something and going back and landing in the tree. So they're having a bit of a feeding frenzy here. Wonderful for them. It's not just them. Those are my nuts you can hear rattling. Macadamia nuts, peanuts, cashew nuts, dried apricot cubes. Not to lose focus or anything, this is a serious bird watching safari, don't forget that. But there's a little bit of everything in there. And it's a very, very delicious mix. Raisins, sultanas. That there is a cranberry. Can you believe it? I mean, that is a luxury where I come from. Very nice. I think I may eat that now. Mmm. Very juicy. Oh, here we've got some babblers. And I'm not sure what kind of babbler this is. I'm going to have to babble through my book to find out. But it is a babbler. So, give me a second. Now, they're called babblers because they are very loud. And it's what is called allelometric behavior. Oh, look at all those bugs in the background. How cool. And their bright white eye, which will help us work out that this is, in fact, the black Lord babbler. If it's got a white throat. Is it still around? No, it doesn't have a white throat. Hold on. I prematured there on my call. Oh, this is getting confusing. This is very interesting. Unless it is the Black Lord Babbler, but the nominate version. I think that's what it is. It was previously known as the Sharps Babbler. It's the only option really in my book. Oh, there's the call. Quee. Oh, this is true. The guys have nailed this. The call they've described as higher pitched than most typical babblers, with a slightly insane and hilarious laughing quality. Now listen carefully. That to me is definitely the call. It sounds like a bit of a helium laugh. And let me show you quickly in the book so you can see I'm not talking rubbish. It must be this guy, the Black Lord Babbler with the white eye. The distribution's right, and it must just be the nominate version. Also with the white eye, just lacking that white throat patch. Very good. These are not the only birds you're going to be seeing this afternoon. Now you're off to see some chicks in South Africa.
Thanks, Scott. Enjoy your birding and enjoy your salty nut mix. It sounds delicious. We have blacksmith lapwing chick. So earlier we had the Senegal lapwing. Now we've got the blacksmith lapwing. And shame, this poor parent, the whole time we've been sitting here, has been tick, 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 ticking away. We had just the 2 chicks for a while, and I couldn't figure out why she was going on and on and on and on and on. And then we looked up, and there's a 3rd chick on the opposite side of where I'm saying mom, but it could be dad. Again, no sexual dimorphism. There's the other chick, and this chick is just ignoring everything its parent is saying. It's in its own little world, very happy with what it's doing, doesn't care that it's not near its brothers and sisters. It's quite amusing, I'm not gonna lie. Here you go. Here's the other 2, and then this one here. The light's really nice. They are, yeah, viewers, you're right, they're super cute. Cuteness overload. Now notice as well, we showed the parent earlier, and then while looking at the little one here, the coloration of this little one is meant to blend into the ground. So there's a lot of white, yeah, but at the same point, the dark spots are sort of speckled and almost textured, so that if they were not running the way that they are now, if they needed to hide under something, they're going to camouflage automatically. If they were born and they were black, black, black with white, white, white and the gray, like the parents are, it's harder to camouflage that way, and so it would be easier for a predator to come in and eat them. So there's some terrapins that are inside this dam. We're here at Treehouse Dam. There's some terrapins that are in here. One of the most amazing things I've seen, not on drive, but captured on camera, was a video shot in Namibia, I want to say in the late 70s, early 80s. It must have still been on, Jeandre, what was that, 8mm that they used to film on? Yeah. Yeah, the 8/16/35, Jeandre is saying. And they were busy watching doves come to this water hole, and all of a sudden this terrapin jumped up, grabbed a dove, pulled it underwater, and then obviously ate it. Terrapins are carnivorous, so I was a little bit nervous for those chicks as they carried around, but the terrapins seem not to be interested. We're going to head back up north where Scott has amazing birds in Kenya, some of which I haven't seen yet. So let's head over to him and see what little surprises he has in store with our feathered friends in East Africa.
We've got a whole bunch more birds here for you. There's the white-headed buffalo weaver with the red bottom. And these are red-necked spurfowl, which there's one calling right next to us here. Let's see if we can get it calling again. Call again for us. Come on. No, back to foraging. So that, I think, is a redneck spurfowl, but it could actually be no, it's not. It can't be a grey-breasted. But I think it can. It is the red-necked. Ah, they sure can run very quickly. Ooh, it's got its chick. Or is it chasing the chick away? Are you being a bully? What's going on here? Why are you bullying this baby? This is unacceptable. Don't make us intervene. Well, off goes the baby. And who knows why? This one's running right up to our vehicle. It seems like it could be rabid. It's charging us. Hold tight, everyone. Nothing worse than a Franklin attack. Have you lost your marbles? What is getting you so excited? I cannot understand nor explain this behavior. It's so close to the vehicle. You can see you looking right down onto it now. Oh, goodbye. Okay, good. And what? There was another bird, but I think it already flew off. A superb starling, which, as the name suggests, they look very, very superb. I haven't seen many white-headed buffalo weavers here, which is interesting. There used to be a lot where I worked up in Samburu. I'm actually trying to think if I've seen any here. Maybe it's just that we've been so focused on the big cats that I've been overlooking them. Sorry if that's the case, but if it's not the case and you're a rare sighting, it's wonderful to see you. It's the Franklins you can hear shouting again behind us. Good stuff. Well, I think we're going to press on, keep racking up the bird list for you guys. Not doing too badly so far. Hi Roshni, you'd like to know which area of the Mara I find great for birding, and it's a tricky one because there's different areas that provide you with different birds, like the marshy areas where we're going to head to ahead of us now. You get a lot of great water birds. The rivers, obviously, you get kingfish, well, you know, the fish hunting birds, also the watery birds. But then up on the escarpment, there's a lot of special birds and a very beautiful area for bird watching. So I'd probably say up there where we've taken you on a few glimpses, I know, or a few little joy rides, and you've got a few glimpses of interesting birds up there. I know Jamie took you guys up there for some bird watching. Our Askari Sami Kakaya has spotted something. Nini? Oh, well done. That's great news. There is a rhinoceros somewhere amongst us. Oh, there we go. There. Well done. Thank you, Sami Kakaya. And we do carry an Askari, which is Kenyan for park ranger, on our vehicles, on our afternoon drives, because we head back after official gate closing time, so we have to make sure we've got an authority with us. Look at how cool that is. That is a rhino Flemingrimus. And you're getting such a great view of its hooked lip. That was so cool. I don't think I've ever seen a black rhino do that, so I could be wrong. Maybe it was yawning, but I'm guessing that was a Flemingrimus. They'll usually Flemingrimus if they can smell. Yeah, that is a Flemingrimus. There's something that this rhino can smell that it's wanting to better process. So imagine if we didn't just have our nostrils, but also another organ in our upper lip, that if we curled our lips up, we would be able to smell even better. That is what the rhino is doing, and it's what quite a lot of mammals can actually do. And he must be smelling, or she must be smelling, one of the two, I can't tell the difference from this view, but must be smelling another rhino, possibly being turned on, possibly being agitated, who knows, but definitely doing some calculations with the old Jacobson's organ. It's looking a little bit worked up. Now let's see if it doesn't scent mark, because if it does, that'll be a good sign that something is up and that it wants to either leave a message or display its dominance in this area, or the fact that it may be its territory. Now, this is so lucky to be viewing one of these animals, everyone. We cannot hide from the fact that they are being hugely persecuted for the trade of their horn, which is receiving more than gold, pound for pound. So the rangers in this park are doing an incredibly good job making sure that they are protected from the nasty work of poachers. And isn't it just so sad to think that they are being killed for something that is of actually absolutely no use to us as humans? How terrible to kill such a mammoth beast for something the equivalent of our own fingernails is horrifying. Hello, Recon. You would like to know what I would do if it charges? I would bang the side of the vehicle and possibly make the noise of a squealing warthog to try and deter it from coming and attacking us. Basically, there's not much we could do. The limousine that we are in is a bit sluggish, and these animals can move incredibly quickly, and it's not uncommon for black rhinos to charge vehicles, but they very often stop or veer off at the last moments. And like I said, making noise is your best assault against just about any animal. Also, standing your ground is useful. If the vehicle was facing directly towards the rhino charging us, I would try and drive the vehicle towards it, because that too would make it think twice about continuing its assault, whereas if we started fleeing, it would immediately feel dominant and powerful, and it would continue to chase us. Hence, when in doubt, stand your ground and make a lot of noise. Good stuff. We're going to send you off to Taylor, who has found a kingfisher.
Oh, now I copy you now. Right, we got a little bird sitting on a tree. Fishang. Maybe it is. What kingfisher are we looking at this afternoon? It's actually a tricky one. Do you know that? So let's see how many of you, although now that it's turned around, it's given itself away. But when it had its back facing us, it was a sneaky one. Hashtag Safari Live if you think you know what kingfisher it is, and I'll give you one clue. I'm not giving you a clue. Otherwise it's going to be too easy. Right, that's cool though to see. Nice little kingfish. We'll see if we can find it again. It was confusing me at one point as well. I was like, I wonder. But then when it turned around, it easily revealed itself to me, which was quite nice. Let's see if I can find it. I think I can see it again. Sorry. Sure, that's a bit over that tree's roots. Let's quickly get another view here. I just want to scan. I'll tell you in 2 seconds if I can see it, Darby. Yeah. There, it's just flying. Do you see it? Going up that pathway. Just chases another bird. Go up a little bit more. Where are you looking? No, it isn't. Crew, you got it. You said it's a grey-headed. Darby, I'm just trying to see. You're correct, and I'm going to show you it now. Where's that other bird running? I'm trying to point to it. Hang on. It's up there somewhere. There's a big tree. Sorry, let me try that again. I don't think I pointed correctly. Where are we? I'm trying to figure out where exactly we are. Oh, hang on. There. And then there. Yeah, there. Okay, there we go. Zoom straight in center of your screen. There it is. It's sitting very far away now. But yes, you're quite correct. It is a grey-headed kingfisher. Nice one to add to the list. I don't think I've seen a grey... Oh, well, no, I have. No, I've been seeing more striped kingfishers than anything. So there we go. Grey-headed kingfisher. To add to the list is pretty cool. And it'll eat a multiple of things that live around the river. It'll catch fish. It'll catch tadpoles. It will also eat, excuse me, little insects when it can. And actually saw one swoop down and grab something off a log. And then it went and ate it. We'll see. We're in a good area though along the Mara River, and hopefully we'll be able to find some other birds. Tristan has moved on from his birding now. I think he was birding earlier. No, it was Noel that was birding. My bad. Tristan has got the most common antelope in Africa.
I do indeed, Taylor. I was doing a spot of birding earlier as well, but now we've got two playful young boys that are just honing their skills as males and play fighting a little bit. There's been a bit of horning and a bit of kind of thrashing of bushes, and this is all the way that they learn. So these guys are not at mating age yet. They certainly won't probably compete even next year. They're about a year away from being adult males that could potentially be able to mate. So you normally find that male impalas will start to be able to compete in the rut at around 3.5 years old, and these guys are probably now about 2 years old. So another 6 months they'll be about 2.5, I would say. And so they've still got a bit of growing to do, but in the meantime it's important to practice. It's important to hone your skills, strengthen your neck, strengthen your shoulders. And so this is how they do it. They'll just have these little games where they kind of push each other's horns together, and slowly little wrestling games, and it all just kind of preps them for when that rut really starts and they actually start kind of going after one another and really trying to compete for mating rights. So it's really cool to see. And they were actually at one point so close to us because they were so preoccupied with each other that they were standing maybe 2-3 meters away, or maybe a little bit more than that, so let's call it 10 meters. And completely oblivious to us. Normally impalas are quite flighty and they kind of move off and then watch you, but these guys were having their own little game. It was actually very, very cool to see. They're now starting to drift off a little bit. Maybe it got a bit hot in the sun, and you can see they're slowly kind of making their way towards more shady sections. Also seems as though a lot of the biting flies are irritating them. You'll find that they're constantly dipping their heads and shaking, so I think there's a lot of flies that are around. Also, what you're seeing that one doing is not so much flies, but more a display to the other individual. They will thrash bushes and horn them to try and display to the other one that I'm a big strong individual, and look at my horns, look at the way that I have this technique, and it's almost like a challenge that is laid down to the other one, or it's an intimidating strategy that kind of keeps the other one away. So in this case it's more just youngsters that are play fighting and playing around, and that's how they kind of learn to get things done. Very cool to see though. Right, well, they're drifting off. We're going to carry on and see what else we can find. Like I was saying, I have been doing a spot of birding. The birds have been out and about this afternoon. It's been really quite nice. The problem with birds is that I tend to find if you're not actually with us and we're on air, it's quite tough to actually keep birds in a camera. It's, you know, they kind of move around quite a bit, and we had the most insane audio for some orange-breasted bush shrikes just now, and we were trying to get them on camera, but they were just bouncing around too much. But it was two bush shrikes calling to one another, and they used 3 different calls in the space of, I would say, about 3 minutes, and their pitch and their tone changed 3 times. It was really amazing to listen to. It's probably some of the best orange-breasted bush shrike audio that I've heard in a long time, so it was very cool to see that. And then there's been a number of other little birds pottering about, the odd hornbills, starlings, there's been a couple laughing doves, Cape turtle doves, so lots happening out here. It feels a lot more alive than it has during the sort of overcast days we've had previously, so it's nice to be out and kind of enjoying the sunshine, and I think all the birds are thoroughly relishing the sun as well as not being wet and being able to actually move around. Now I'm just on my way up towards Buffelshoek Dam before I turn down towards Chitwa. I just want to check. I had some tracks for ellies moving up in this way, so I'm just following these ellie tracks for a little bit just to see where they head. I don't think they're going to be at Buffelshoek Dam. It looked to me as though they crossed and went towards Torchwood, but I'm right here. I might as well just double check and have a little look and see what's going on that side. James, you're wondering about pheasants or quails in South Africa or even the Mara. Now in the Mara I'm not 100% sure, probably good to ask Scott or Taylor about those, but here in South Africa we do get a quail species. I'll show you now. Of course we do get the button quails, which we've been trying to get on camera recently and have sometimes been successful and sometimes failed, but I'm just trying to get my bird book. If you just bear with me for 2 seconds. Sorry, there's seems to be stuff everywhere today. There's my bird book. But we do get what's called a harlequin quail, so I'll try and find it for you now. It should be around here. Sorry. Okay, there's flufftails. I'm trying to find quails now. There we go. Okay. So there's obviously a few different types of quail that we get. We do get the common quail, which is this top one over here. Both the common quail and the harlequin quail, these two at the bottom, are both migratory species. So you'll find that they are intra-African migrants, both of them, and they'll move from the sort of highlands or north of us down to this area during the summer months, and they are beautiful little birds. They're both tiny. They, about 18 centimeters in terms of their height, and they don't weigh very much. They kind of 90 grams or so, but both of them do occur here. We do see both of these individuals in this area. The harlequin quail, a little bit tougher to see. I have seen them, I think, on Cheetah Plains. I've seen them before, and I've also seen them down in Singita and those areas, and the big open grasslands there. We tend to find them. And then I think there's one other that we see in this area. No, sorry, it's just the button quails then that we see. So we do get this common button quail over here that is fairly visible at the moment. I've actually seen quite a lot of these lately. Generally while driving they just pop out in front of us, and then you kind of have a brief glimpse of them. So those are the sort of quail species that we get in this area. We'll try and see if we can find them. Hopefully during the summer months we can get a Hottentot and common quail on camera harlequin quail on camera at some point. It'll be really nice to catch up with them. hopefully also some of the button quails. I know that for a long time we heard the button quails calling, but we couldn't get them on camera because it's generally when you hear them calling is deep into the summer and the grass is still quite long and difficult to sort of spot them in that grass. Now at this time of the year is one of the best times to get it because the grass is still very thin, but they're quite active because of the warmer temperatures, and so we get to see them quite often, particularly when we're following the cats. So I found lately when we've been following leopards through the grass, lots of them pop out as the leopards move off and we try and kind of get around. You find them just scurrying through the grass. They're difficult though to get on camera because of how small they are. They're incredibly well camouflaged and they just go into the grass and then hide away in that area. But yes, we do get quails here. Like I say, in Kenya I would imagine there must be quails. It's the perfect habitat for quail species. Grassland is generally where you get a lot of your quails, so I would imagine there must be quails there that they see. So there we go. Speak of the devil, I believe birding Scotty to Hottie Dyson is out and looking for birds, and maybe he'll have a bit more information on whether there are quails in that part of the world. Like I say, I'd imagine there are, but I'm sure Scotty will know better than I do.
Yes, still searching furiously for our feathered friends. Been through a bit of a dry patch. We got off to a good start, but things have quietened down. Fear not, I have a plan. I'm going to take you to a very beautiful area, quite well forested along the Mara River, and there's this kind of little two-track where you can squiggle your way into some really beautiful areas, and I'm fairly certain we're going to find some good bird life there. It'll take us about 10 or 15 minutes to get there, provided we don't stop, which of course we are likely to do. Pheasants or quail in the Mara? Tristan is wondering my thoughts on the topic. I do know that there's a number of quail here. I'm not sure which type. There's definitely no pheasants, but there are helmeted guinea fowl, which I guess is kind of pheasant-like. And there's two of them perched in a tree up ahead of us. I'm interested that they're already perched up in this tree. You can see them silhouetted there, because it's a bit early for them to be roosting. So has something chased them up there, or what is exactly going on? Oh, now I can see there's another one on the ground. There's a whole bunch of them actually on the ground below those two in the tree. You can hear them letting off their telltale call. Very beautiful. Look at that. Such a nice contrast with their black and white spots, that bright blue head and this lush green vegetation. Oh, your outfit is very, very fancy. If I could dress up like a bird for a New Year's party, I would dress up like a guinea fowl. It's official. I mean, who knows? Maybe they've just had a successful day out and they're going to go to bed early tonight, an early night, weeknight. All righty then. Kirsty just suggested that I should maybe use a peacock as my New Year's theme, but that is not an African bird, so I'd be a traitor to our continents if I was to choose the peacock, unless it was the Congolese peacock, but those are not as impressive as the Indian ones. Because I think a peacock outfit would suit you better, and a guinea fowl outfit would work for me. So you can keep your peacock outfit for yourself. Let me have a quick squiz in the book here. Kirsty said she would be a flamingo. You'd also make a good flamingo, Kirsty. You can choose. Now, I've got my book out. I'm on the page of quails, and here we get the harlequin quail, the common quail, the blue quail, the common button quail, and that's it. How's this for an interesting one? This bird over here, never knew it existed. It's called a quail plover. How's that for a name? Sorry, I keep shifting the book down to show its name. There we go. And let me read the description for you. Initially, it was called a lark-button quail. So that's 3 different birds in one. Lark-button quail. I mean, that's ridiculous. A very small, strange bird, which may suggest a tiny courser, or even a lark. Standing birds are well camouflaged, but in flight shows a unique, bold black and white wing pattern. Okay. Well, they don't occur here, but they occur in Kenya. So, Tristan, there are 4 types of quail, or 3 types of official quail, 1 type of button quail. Here's another cool page of birds. I've never seen any of these before. They're all very, very secretive, all of the fluff tails. Very pretty, though. Good. I'm told Tristan would either like me to dress as a penguin, or a penguin is his choice of outfit for this coming New Year's Eve party. Tristan would be a good... Okay, so Tristan would like to be a penguin. I mean, all of the outfits on all of those birds are very fancy. Marvelous. Well, you'll be saddened to know that Taylor has lost focus and she is no longer birding. She's now looking at mammals. Can you handle it? And why don't you try and get her off the topic and ask her what she would like to wear as her New Year's outfit.
I'm first swatting. Go away. Be gone, all of you. Sorry, everyone. It's crazy. It's not funny, Darby. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we've got some elephants. Sorry, everyone. And this little elephant is chasing hyenas around at the moment. There must be a den here. Where's it gone? Is it gone flat now? It's just laying in the grass. There's 2 of them. And the little hyena is very curious by their presence and keep sneaking up to them and then chasing them around. You can see Mom's not particularly happy. Not that she really has anything to worry about. Her calf is quite large and could probably squash a hyena if it really wanted to, if it was feeling brave enough. What bird would I dress up as to Halloween? I think I would go, I don't know. Darby, what bird do you think I could be? It's a tough one. Something with lots of head. Crown crane? Yeah, because James says I sound and look like a crown crane. So I'll go as a crown crane. It would take a lot of teasing of my hair in order to get a crown crane. Crown crane. It's a hard one to keep saying all the time. The cranes. I'll go as the crane. So yeah. And I know, Scott, you're saying that I got distracted. You should see me, and I apologize, I'm shaking the camera, but I'm being swarmed, and I don't want these things to go in my eyes. Go away, bugs. Go away. It's a nightmare. Even Darby got his leg out, he's swatting away as well. It's particularly bad this afternoon, and it's our own fault, because we want to drive in the marsh, and there's lots of rain. I'll just keep doing this. See, can you see them? Look at all of them. Maybe my clapping technique worked and chased them all away. Because no, it didn't. I failed. They're still swarming all over me. Let's see. I think hyenas are up on the move now. Sorry, we keep getting distracted by these little insects. I'm just going to cover my eyes and ears. Mom's had enough. No, Mom's saying get on and move out of here. And that little one, I think, is taking all the credit for it. I told it to move. It even, at one point, had its trunk inside the den, too, in the little termite mound. I think you two are being a bit drama queen-like this afternoon. I don't think you need to chase the hyenas around. They're not going to do anything to you. But elephants are like that. Any predators that are about, they'll even chase serval and things around. They're just going to say, get out of my way. I think that's another hyena, or it could be a skeleton. It's just too far away to be able to tell, but we'll soon see. If it jumps up out of the grass and moves, then we know it's a hyena. If not, then we know it's a skeleton. Let's see, that little one is going towards it now. Are we going to get a reaction? Or are my eyes just that bad now? No, it's not even moving at all. It looks like it could be one, though. What do you think, Darby? I'm also not sure. But an interesting sighting. We're very far away from it. And little Thompson's gazelle also just happily grazing in the distance on the edge of the forest. So you can see through those. You can see through those trees. That is actually the forest, and then on the other side is the Masai Mara National Reserve, which is quite cool. Kirst, you said that you think it's a hyena. I think it could be. Just that sort of white hair, fur, looks very hyena-like. And they are such stubborn creatures too. They will only move out at the absolute last second. Let's see if that little one starts to open its ears. That'll also be a giveaway. Oh, well, that's what it obviously thinks of a hyena. Go away, bugs. Well, if the hyena doesn't get up and move, it's going to get flooded out. It is a hyena too. It's going to drown. If it doesn't get out of the way quick enough. Not very happy about that little elephant coming closer to it. Let's see if it's going to be brave enough. This is always funny when they do this. It must be nice, though, to be able to just have animals racing away from you constantly. I was just about to say, Darby, there's some birds in the screen, but it wasn't. It was the midges on my monitor. I thought there were fork-tailed drongos or something flying around. I was horribly mistaken. See what that elephant doing? It's just pretending. It's going closer and closer and closer. I think obviously waiting for Mom to come around. Oh my goodness, they will not go away. Mom's going to chase it, I think. Oh no, there's something tasty. It looks like some nice green grass. Maybe there's some reeds or something growing there. And the hyena's up. Go, little elephant. Show us how big and strong you are. Look at it raising its head to the roof. Saying, I do not like you. Also moving its tail away. Kicking the ground. You're a funny little boy, aren't you? And the hyena doesn't care. Doing a big stretch. I love their attitude. They are the greatest creatures out here. And isn't that amazing? Two of the most intelligent animals that we have in Africa. Together. Sussing one another out. Well, more the elephant sussing the hyena out. Hyena's not too particularly bothered this afternoon. What a nice little sighting to have. Let's see, you're coming closer to the elephant. That's a bit brave. Walk underneath its legs. That would be quite cool. That would be amazing. I don't think the hyena will ever do that, though. Very peaceful out here as well. Very, very peaceful. Little elephant's going for a bit of a dive. It looks like it's inside a mud wallow now. My goodness, these little midges bite really sore. Maybe if I kill enough of them. No, I don't think that's going to work. Darby, I think we're going to have to vacate out of this area. I can't sit here anymore. Ow. Sorry, we're just driving. I'm hiding away from them. No, now they're all over me and they're down my shirt and they're biting me. You gotta do the slap technique. Woo! That's not particularly nice. Now, Jocelyn, you're wondering why are elephants so afraid of bees? I think a lot of animals are afraid of bees. That sound, firstly, is quite deafening. If you've ever had a swarm fly over the top of you, you'll know it's not a nice sound that you hear. So that, and bees will try and sting elephants too. I don't know if they'd be able to penetrate through their thick hide, but maybe on the more sensitive areas like the ears and around near the end of the tail, you know, all those different spots, they could still essentially, I would assume they'd be able to sting an elephant, so they just move out of the way. I've seen all sorts of different creatures panic when bees come through, except bee eaters and drongos and lilac-breasted rollers and all that. Okay, I think I heard correctly. I'm going to send you across to Scott. It sounds like he's got two animals in a bit of a battle.
Yes, we do. Now, it doesn't seem like a very full-blown fight, but for now, it certainly is quite interesting. And who knows, maybe it will escalate, maybe they'll get frustrated, or more frustrated with one another. But who knows, I mean, it could just be old friends having a wrestle. Boys will be boys, even when they become old men, I guess, which these certainly are. These are big old boys, and you would not want to be in a tussle with them. Sorry, guys, I'm just finishing off a mouthful of crisps, if you can hear me chewing. Really nice, actually. They're tortilla crisps. Cool crunch flavor. And these buffaloes took us by surprise, and we called you across as quickly as, oh, yes, rodeo. Well, I think it is fair to say that they are certainly getting more worked up. And it's unlikely that this would happen, but it's important that we said, oh, there's the one, Rangers Gates in the background. Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Oh, no, not yet. Round 2. The loser obviously decided to change his mind as soon as he heard me saying that there was a winner. Well, it's interesting that they're fighting. I mean, there's no ladies around. There's 3 other males feeding off peacefully on the side here. It's just these 2 are a bit of, possibly doing a little bit of gym. Again, it's impossible to know whether they're just having some mandatory practice or if it is something more serious. Well, at this stage, I don't think it's too serious, but if it continues, it could get more hectic. And I can just, for the first time now, actually hearing their horns clashing against one another. Sadly, this is not an area where we can off-road, so we are limited to the visuals that we are giving to you now, just due to the nature of the beast. Look at this guy just nonchalantly grazing while his 2 friends wrestle in the background. Yes, you. Haha. How's that grass, buddy? Looks very tasty. You're spilling quite a bit, though. Yeah, still. But it's fine. You don't need to be neat. You're not sitting at a dinner table like we do, as you were. Wow. Interesting stuff. Well, they've calmed down for now. Maybe they're just getting their breath. I mean, I don't know how long they were going before we got onto site. Phoebe, you'd like to know if they're fighting over a female. I don't think so, because there's no ladies around, so it would be senseless to fight over a lady unless there was one there looking for a boyfriend. So maybe it's just, the fact that they're old and a bit grumpy, and I don't know what the reason could be. Again, it could just be playful. I don't think it was a full-blown fight. It didn't seem at any point in time that there was anything too malicious there, like they were really going for one another. So I think it could have just been something a little bit more playful as opposed to something serious. And ordinarily, the main thing most men fight for in the wilderness kingdom is woman. Or anything woman-related. I mean, getting a territory is kind of woman-related because you need one in order to be able to get a lady for certain species. So more often than not, that's what men are fighting over. I guess it's fair to say that our species will also fight over ladies from time to time. So it's a fairly standard thing, I believe. Glorious. Now we are approaching the riparian belt that follows the Mara River. It's that thick green belt ahead of us. We're not too far away, but looking forward to getting alongside that beautiful forest. And while we continue to make our way there, we are going to be sending you over to Tristan, who is just carousing.
I am indeed, Scotty D. We're just slowly meandering our way down the Buffelshoek boundary. Not very much happening at Buffelshoek Dam, so we're just kind of taking a beautiful afternoon drive. It's pretty, there's not much happening, but it's just nice to be in the sunshine and enjoying what's going on. Now, I believe there is something on the lens, and I can see something there. I think it's a little insect. So let's just have a look. Hold on, Sense. No, it's a little piece of dirt or something. I'll get it for you, Sense. Oh, it is an insect. Look at that. It's crawling. There we go, off it goes. We don't need that on there. I'm not sure what kind of insect it was. It was very, very small, but it was causing a little spot on the camera, so I apologize about that. And now that's all sorted out. But Buffelshoek Dam was once again quiet. Lots of elephant tracks, but unfortunately they all went in towards Buffelshoek itself, and so no ellies around the dam. I would imagine we're also going to pick up some tracks that are going to go in a sort of, I would say, what's that, easterly direction? I'm forgetting my directions today, I don't know why, but an easterly direction into Torchwood as well. So it's not really working out the way I wanted to. The thing about elephants going into Torchwood is they sometimes turn south towards Chitwa, and that's where we're on our way to at the moment. So I am hoping that they will be around. But otherwise, Chitwa Dam is going to be, I'm sure, very, very busy this afternoon. Always lots happening there. Keen to go and check up on the 2 baby hippos and the crocs. I believe that there was a report that there are 4 baby crocodiles. I've only seen 3, so we need to just double check that again and go and have a proper look. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, hang on a second. Sandgrouse. I haven't seen you guys in ages. So there are 2 double-banded sandgrouse here, a male and a female. Male on the right hand side, female on the left, and you'll see that the male's got the nice big broad band. So that's the female over there. And I love these sandgrouse. They've got these massive eyes. Well, the sort of yellow around the eye makes the eye look much bigger. There's the male with his little double bands over his eyes and then on his chest as well. And these guys are not the most common birds that we see out here. In fact, like I say, I can't remember the last time I even saw them, but this is a place where I have seen them before. They like these kind of more open sections, so fire break areas is where you see them, and I really find them very, very cool. I know that there's different species up in Kenya than what we see here, but in South Africa we do get a number of sandgrouse species. So this is the only one in the Sabi sands, but there's a number if you go to the west into the Kalahari desert regions. And sandgrouse are a phenomenal species. You'll find that a lot of them occur in very arid, very dry areas. And sometimes, particularly in places like the Kalahari deserts, you'll find some of the sandgrouse will fly over 70 kilometers from where they nest all the way to a water point where they'll go and actually get into the water itself, soak their feathers. Their feathers will hold water, and then they'll fly all the way back to the nest to be able to then hydrate the chicks, and the chicks will then drink water from their feathers that are on their chest, which is absolutely amazing. And they're also a very, very fast flyer. They look like quite a rotund bird that doesn't look as though it's built to fly very fast, but these guys are actually very quick. They can fly at close to 70 kilometers an hour, which is pretty quick when you think about it, and so they can really move, and they are hunted only by the fastest of birds. Pretty much falcons and some of the sparrowhawks will go after them, but otherwise they're a bit quick for most of the other birds. But so cool to see them, and especially this close. They're very relaxed. Snazzy, you say those eyes, I know they are beady, aren't they? They kind of look at you with these kind of big eyes and stare at you. I wonder who we could make a sandgrouse for our team dressing up as birds. We've been sitting here pondering all the birds that everyone could be, and I'm not sure who's got the biggest eyes in our crew, Sense. Jerry. So Jerry the sandgrouse, I suppose that works. It's a bit maybe drab for Jerry. Jerry's a colourful character, and so I would rather her probably dress with a little bit more colours than a sandgrouse, but the eyes certainly do suit Jerry, because Jerry does have big eyes when she looks at you, especially if you're in trouble, then you get these big eyes that kind of stare at you. And Innocentia as well, maybe Innocentia, because Innocentia's quite quiet, she does her own thing. Maybe a sandgrouse is not the worst thing for Innocentia to be. I'll have to think about it. But we've settled on quite a number of interesting ones. We've decided that Genre should be a flamingo, and he should be dressed up as that because he's quite tall and lanky, so that's what Genre is going to be. I think the pinker the flamingo, the better. And we've decided that Kirsty should be a firefinch, and we've also decided Jared, a grey go-away bird. What else did we decide? We decided Conrad, who's our newest addition to the tech team. Conrad is going to be a bokmakeri because he's from Afrikaans descent, and we decided that that's the only bird that we can find that has an Afrikaans name, and that is the English name, and so that's what Conrad's going to be. Who else have we decided on? Louise was wanting to be a secretary bird, but I think she changed her tune to a African harrier. Louise is on the fence as to which one she wants to be. Kirsty, what did Scott say? I feel like Scott has come out with a winner. Something about a bald eagle. Did you say? Steph, a bald eagle? Yes, Steph I think would be a wonderful eagle. James, I'm on the fence. We've either decided that he should be a lilac-breasted roller with all the colours, or we've thought that maybe it would be quite fun to put hair on James's head and dress him up as a crested guinea fowl. Now, those of you who don't know what a crested guinea fowl is, I feel like now is the time to show you the wonders of a crested guinea fowl because, well, I think they look quite cool. Many people have a little chuckle at them when they see them, but I need to just find them in the book quickly. But I think they would work very well for James. I think James would suit this and would look hysterically funny. I'm pretty sure he doesn't agree. I briefly saw James just before we started Game Drive. A lot of you might be very happy to hear that James is back at Djuma. It's just that he didn't get here really in time to put him on a drive this afternoon, so he'll be out in the morning. But this is what I think would be quite funny for James, just because I want to see James with long hair. But imagine James dressed up in a spotty kind of black and white number with a little scarf or turtleneck black top, and then this kind of fuzzy black hairdo on top. I think that would be quite stunning for James, and James would certainly strut around like a guinea fowl, and him and Scott could raise hell together as the team guinea fowl for the evening. So I think that would be a fine example. I was thinking peacock as well for James, but then I realized that maybe we should just keep it to savanna birds, and so the helmeted guinea fowl got the vote from my side. Okay, so Scott says it has to be African. Well, then we can't use a bald eagle for Steph, but we can substitute that with a fishy eagle. So we can do a fish eagle or a bald ibis. There we go. We can do bald ibis for Steph. And then talking about ibises and those kind of birds, we've decided Brent Leo Smith will be a hardy-dar just because of the amount of noise he makes. Taylor McCurdy is going to be a green wood hoopoo because she's also prone to having a good chat and likes a bit of bright color. So that's that. Craig, I'm going to probably make him, I think maybe we should call him a lesser cuckoo because they're silent in the region. So Craig never really speaks, so we can just call him that. Or we can call him maybe Craig can be a grey-headed bushshrike because he kind of has this like low, eerie, spooky speech, and that's like Craig. He just whispers in the corner when you're talking to him. Of course, Craig is probably not anything like that. What else have we decided? So what did Taylor, sorry, Kirst, if you can repeat that? I believe Taylor has got an argument here. Oh, Taylor wants to know what Ali would be. I feel like Ali and Taylor could go together as green wood hoopoos because the two of them together is about as much noise as the wood hoopoos make, that's for sure. It's very, very loud when those two get together, so I think the two of them can go as a little flock of wood hoopoos. Who else? I haven't really gotten to anyone else yet. We'll have to... Oh, Viam and Alex we decided would both be owl species. Viam I think would be a pearl-spotted or barred owlet. Alex I feel like maybe... I'm not sure. Maybe a spotted eagle owl for Alex. Alex is quite wise, so I would think something like that. What else have we got? Who else? Chantal? I don't know. I'll have to think about Chantal a little bit longer. That's also another one. Chantal is quite tall, so maybe one of the taller birds. Maybe a crane of some sort? Crown crane? I don't know. Chantal is around, I think. So maybe a crown crane for Chantal. Ashley. Sens, what do you think for Ash? Senzo is just shaking his head laughing at me as I'm rattling these off. I forgot Senzo, of course. Senzo wants to be a puffback shrike. He likes the puffback shrikes because their whole back just puffs up with this white kind of feathery appearance. So Senzo is going to be a puffback shrike. No, well, this is a lot of people all to think of at once, so I'm going to have to think about this. I can't do it on the fly, and we can't have a situation where I'm thinking of all of them by myself, Kirst. You're going to have to chime in, and I know there's a few in FC, and they maybe can come up with some. And somebody else who's never shy of a word and never shy of something to say would be Taylor McCurdy. Now, I'm pretty sure Taylor will assign a bird to me. I've already decided that I would like to go as a jackass penguin or an African penguin, which is its new name. But in the meantime, let's go across to Taylor and see what she thinks and where she thinks I should fit into the party and where the rest of the crew should be as well.